Hey there, I'm Bree Stockwell, and this is The Complete Creative, the podcast for passionate creatives and visionaries who want it all: meaningful work, epic ideas, and a beautiful life. Around here, we ditch the hustle, get intentional, and make space for success that actually feels good. Hey everyone, welcome back. You might hear some banging or pounding or construction in the background because I'm in New Mexico at a friend's house and I am at her desk and there's literally construction happening overhead on the roof. And my opinion is we soldier on. so this is where it's happening. If you can hear it, you get to hear that. And sometimes they're doing it and sometimes not. And this is the time I have. That is how my life works, is I do it when I say I'm going to do it, no matter what. And for sure, I could pick a different spot or they're still pinging. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't, actually. So for sure, I could pick a different spot, but I've decided not to today. So this is what we're doing. I'm traveling in New Mexico right now. My house is still for sale. Anyone want a lovely home in Austin, Texas? It's just been an interesting real estate journey. So stay tuned. I probably won't talk about it until it's done again. But for now, I'm living in Texas, but I am traveling around. I've had the best few weeks. I spent a week playing on Lake Powell with these friends here in New Mexico and some other friends on a houseboat, which was like the most incredible experience. And traveling to places that I'm like, I can't believe this exists. It's just amazingly incredible. So we decided to extend our stay here another week, and I'll be home in a week. Until then, I will be podcasting from elsewhere, which I guess when I sell my house, that will be the case. Okay, today I want to talk about the art of being seen. And this is something that I have been learning slowly, more deeply. And I want to say that before you're like, being seen, this isn't about getting louder. I mean, it could be, but it's not necessarily about getting louder. This is about allowing ourselves to allow the world to see us as who we are, as who we really are. And it's about knowing who we are so we can do that. This will be a gentle yet potent conversation for those of you who are really longing to show up more fully without burning out or losing yourselves in like the performance of it all. Because sometimes when we think about being seen, we're like, oh, I have to like show up and do a 7-second reel or or whatever, or feel like an imposter. And if you are interested in my opinions about imposter syndrome or whatever that is, I'll actually link to that episode in this episode description. And you can take a look at that because I have a spicy opinion about it. Okay, so the catalyst for this conversation today is actually from my coach. Her name is Amber Smith. I will also link to her work if you're interested. She has an amazing podcast and she posts really interesting, spicy questions on her Instagram. So I highly recommend checking her out. But I was in a coaching call and she said, Brie, you sound like you are high level hiding. And I'm like, what in the heck is high level hiding? Because I think of myself as a person who's like, always putting myself out there, like I'm doing the podcast, right? I feel like I'm always doing all kinds of things. But here's the thing about high level hiding is it's like just enough, but not fully. It's like halfway. And so when I realized that, I actually felt very confronted And it's been interesting to explore that. So, as part of that work, I did my own photo shoot and I put my face all over my website. You can go check it out. I put my face all over it. If you are on my Instagram, you will see my face showing up more. And I am giving myself permission to voice my opinions, like even my spicy opinions that maybe some people don't agree with, like imposter syndrome. P.S. I don't think it's a thing. It's not a thing. You're not sick. So, but things like that, that I kind of needed to give myself permission to put out into the world. So what hiding looked like to me before, like, and this is, by the way, a whole process, but what hiding to me looked like was feeling some self doubt about my personal message, filtering my language. And I feel like in some ways I'm still doing that. So that is a work in progress. Delaying creating under the guise of like perfection. It's not perfect yet. It's not ready. I don't even know if I call it perfection, but you know what this feels like. It's like, oh, it's just not ready yet. So this is where I want to like look at it and go, am I waiting because I think it has to be perfect, or am I truly not ready? Is it truly not ready to come forward? So this shift happened when Amber said, "You're high level hiding," and like looked straight at me, and I was like, "Oh." I What's so funny about this is I felt it. Like if I said it to you, you might not feel it because you might not be, or, you might not be ready to hear it. But I felt it very deeply. And this is the beautiful thing about working with a coach, mentor, guide that can see you, that knows who you are, that knows what you're doing day to day. Right. And she looked straight at me. This was over Zoom and was like, "Yes, you're high level hiding." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel that." I know. It was like immediately, "Oh, yeah, I know." So, how I shifted was I realized that I was just trying to play a lot of things safe and doing a lot of things behind the scenes to feel good and avoid putting myself out there. So, the shift happened when I started allowing myself to feel more uncomfortable and really dig into like, what am I hiding or where am I hiding? That has been my work, is rooting out where I'm hiding and uncovering it bit by bit as I feel comfortable. Because the thing is like, I don't, and I'm going to talk about this later. It's like pushing on the edges of your comfort zone. Like, I don't want to be fully out of my comfort zone because that is totally dysregulating for our nervous systems, right? Or for mine. And I don't want to feel like that. But I also want to be pushing on the boundaries of my comfort zone to create a bigger space for it. So, if this is resonating with you, you might be thinking, "Yeah, but it is hard to be seen." And I know as creative people that so often it is vulnerable to put out our work, to put out our voice, to put out like who we really are. It's vulnerable. And the thing about being seen is like visibility is vulnerability. I have like on my notes here, visibility equals vulnerability. You will feel vulnerable when you're doing it as you get comfortable being more seen in the world for who you are. So, vulnerability is about sharing your voice, right? And like who you are. And that's very intimate. We know creative work is personal. It feels like when we create something, or like even here with me using my voice, it feels like we're like opening a part of ourselves for others to poke around. It's exposing these very soft spots, like our heart or our soul, or the squishy parts that are kind of uncomfortable to allow others to take a look at. Or even it could feel like revealing a sacred part of us, of who we are, that doesn't want to be misjudged. So, some of these unspoken fears, and I want to name them right now because sometimes we keep them. We don't want to bring them to the surface. And I'm just going to list out some questions because this is what happens in our minds when we're considering putting ourselves out into the world or being more visible. So it sounds like, will I be misunderstood or misquoted? I've had that. Will people like repeat me and it won't mean what it's supposed to mean? Will people stop respecting me? This is the one for me. So this is me being vulnerable. Will I be too much? I think for so long I have felt like I might be too much in the world. Like I might have too much energy for whoever. Will my opinions be too much? Will what I have to say be too much? Will me, Bree, be just too much in quotes? Or what does that even mean? Or will I be not enough? Maybe you put yourself out there. As you're thinking about being more visible, will you think, oh my gosh, I'm not enough? I won't live up to what other people want from me. Every once in a while that creeps in for me, but usually I think I'm going to be too much. And this next one is so, so valid because as we become more visible, we may outgrow relationships. We may outgrow friendships. I have found this happening in my life. So the question is, will I outgrow relationships? And it is possible. And are you willing? And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just like that season for that relationship might be over as you become more visible, or what you have to say might be too confronting to some people. And we have to be willing to be okay with that, to be vulnerable enough and uncomfortable enough to be okay with it. So here's another unspoken fear. Will my power? Because as we become more visible, we grow in our power. We empower ourselves. So, will my power be met with resistance or resentment? Maybe. You might. Resistance? Sure. Yeah. Resentment? I don't know. Maybe. You can decide to ignore it if it is. But yeah, as people are introduced to new things about us or in the, in general, we tend to like our little comfort zones. So you might be met with resistance. That is totally possible. So here are some other layers that might keep us from being more visible, AKA vulnerable. And listen, before I say these, none of these are a problem. I'm speaking about this because this is a great time for you to just notice what's happening for you or give yourself some, or like just looking at it without judgment is a great practice. So, as I say this, try and look at it without some judgment and just notice if this feels true for you. Many of us carry this imprint on our hearts of rejection or dismissal. It could be from past experiences, school, family roles, religious or cultural conditioning. Like it could be, like we could be afraid of rejection based on our personal experiences. Like, this is okay. It's not a problem. It's just about noticing. And do you like not being visible because of it? And how do you move past it? All of these memories, those imprints, they live in our body. Like, our nervous system doesn't distinguish between creative visibility, which is sometimes what we want, and emotional exposure, which is like what our brains and our nervous systems are trying to protect us from. It's like it just senses risk. That's all. It doesn't distinguish between the two. That's up to our thinking brains to distinguish the two and come to some conclusions. So in the future, I'm going to do an episode on calming your nervous system. There are practices that we want to have in place for when we are doing things like putting ourselves out there. Like, how can we calm ourselves so that we do the things that we want to be doing? In order to do those, we just first want to notice what's happening. The other thing I want to say here is if you are highly sensitive, or you're very visionary, or you're very spiritually attuned, being seen can feel especially charged, like energetically charged. Because what you have to say, what you believe, your opinions, your truth, if I can say that, it's probably not going to feel mainstream. It's probably going to feel different. And your energy, if you're any of those people, might feel too big for the spaces that you've been in, or that you've known, or that you've grown to be accustomed to or feel comfortable in. This is me. I don't know if it's you, but this is definitely me. All of these fears, they are to protect us. They are not flaws. They are not a problem. They exist to keep us safe and to keep us like feeling great. But many times they're not useful to do what we want to be doing. So now that we've looked at the fears, it's helpful to reframe how we think about them. Being seen is not going to be about being perfect. There are going to be flaws. Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful part of being a human. Like there are flaws. That's why I call this the art of being seen, because art is not perfect. There are rough edges, there are messy bits. This being seen, it's not about other people validating you. It's about you validating you. It's about being present, like fully present and showing up, aligning to who you really are first, and then showing up as you, regardless of how you're received, regardless if someone misjudges you or misquotes you or doesn't like what you have to say, regardless of it. So remember, I talked about pushing on the edges of your comfort zone. When you are pushing on the edges, it's going to be very uncomfortable. Like I'm doing hand motions here. When you're pushing on the edges, it will be very uncomfortable, or it will feel uncomfortable. And so when you find that happening and you're like, okay, I'm going to push on purpose, and you're like, okay, I know that this is what I'm doing. It's important to meet those edges with love, to meet yourself at those edges with love. It's like those tender places of fear or hesitation. Like you're going to be like, ooh, and you're going to ask yourself one of those questions: what if I'm too much? Let me go back in my stuff. Like, am I going to be misunderstood? Yeah, maybe. Am I going to be met with resistance? Yeah, maybe. Meeting yourself at those places and creating inner safety that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. This is the inner work that gets done as part of the art of being seen. Because no matter what, if anyone else approves or disapproves, you want to approve of you first. And so generating that safety, this self-generated safety of meeting yourself at the edges with love, taking care of your nervous system, feeling very grounded in who you are and what you have to say, becomes like sort of your new comfort zone that you can come back to. Hey, this is the work I'm doing. I'm safe here. And it's no matter how your work is received, like you can keep coming back to that. I want to actually just kind of read my notes here because I think this is important. Your edges are the places, the edges of this comfort zone, I like think about it like a bubble, are the places where you feel fear, hesitation, discomfort, or resistance, especially around growth or visibility. Like the growth happens on those edges. It doesn't happen when you're super safe, right? Like hanging out in the middle, not going anywhere. It happens on the edges. So if you want growth, you got to go to the edges. Okay, then to meet them with love means to respond with compassion instead of judgment. So you're like, oh, yeah, I see. I see that this is kind of feeling hard for you. And it's choosing tenderness instead of shame when you notice that you're afraid or that you want to shrink or that you're protecting yourself. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way. Yeah, you might. You probably will feel that way. And so having compassion for yourself that you feel that way is the place that you want to be when you are practicing the art of being seen, because otherwise we shrink back to the middle and we're not seen and we don't share what we have with the world. So both of these things together means that instead of waiting to feel safe until others approve or give you affirmations or say all the nice things that we definitely want other people to say, like 100%, right? That you build safety from the inside out because you've already created it inside by meeting those edges, those vulnerable places with love. Self honoring creates the resilience. So we have, I love this idea of resilience, right? It creates the resilience to keep showing up. Doing this inner work will help us have resilience to continue to allow ourselves to be seen. Even, I put in my notes here, even when your voice shakes or what you have to say feels very raw, like even when you can keep showing up. This is what helped me actually move forward is like I told you, I started exploring these parts, places where I could see that I'm hiding, like hiding in little caves and knowing that it wasn't just calming the fear, for sure, that's part of it, but it's recognizing that visibility is how I get to what I want. It's how I get what I want. I actually feel better now that I'm putting my voice out more into the world. I actually love that my face is more seen. You get to feel the energy of me, and that feels freaking amazing. I love that. And my clients love it because they know that I show up as me and they know that I'm going to show up as the coach for them. And that is more of what I want to be doing. And the thing is like, I'm not doing like multiple things at once. I'm finding one spot and then opening it up. Like I'm doing this in a gentle way when I can tell like how great it feels when I allow something about myself to come out into the light. Like it feels amazing. Yeah, it's uncomfortable and it also feels really good. Isn't that interesting? So, some of the things that I like to say when I'm becoming more visible is the world is better when I show up as me. Like the world is better with me in it, the full me in it. You could also say visibility isn't necessarily just exposure, but it is the devotion to expression. I like thinking about that. And the other thing I love thinking about because I don't know where if I said this on a podcast or if I said it in an Instagram post, but like, oh yeah, actually said this in the intro to my podcast. I love being at where the woo in quotes meets the what to do. So, but being seen, if I'm relating that to this, being seen is actually a spiritual act. It's not a sales tactic. When we think of it as like a sales tactic, then it becomes like, oh, I have to do that. And that's where we meet a lot of resistance to it. So this is like feeding our soul, not feeding the world with continuous Instagram posts. That's not what it's about. This is about allowing ourselves to feel seen even more than we already are. I have some reflection questions for you if you are feeling a little pull to explore where you might be hiding or even high level hiding. So, one, where might you still be hiding? Where do you feel super safe and comfortable right now? And do you want to stay there? And that's okay if you do, because sometimes we're not ready. But where might you still be hiding, even if it's just very subtly? Number two, Is that part of you ready to come forward? That part that's hiding, ready to come forward, even if it's just a little bit, like a baby step. Is it ready to come forward? Yes or no? Because if it's a no, then maybe move to a different place or it's not time yet. And that's okay. And number 3, if you're ready to see where you're still hiding and to allow it to come forward, what is one way that you could allow yourself to be seen this week, today, right now? What is one way that you could push on the edge of your comfort zone and allow that to come forward, to be visible? And not for the applause of everyone else, because that's people pleasing. So, not for everybody else to tell you how great it is, but for you to feel alive, fully present as a human creating in the world. And I'm not even going to say this is number 4. This is just a journaling prompt that, like, you could journal on any of those other questions, but here's a journaling prompt for you that you can finish. If I knew that being seen would expand my joy, like that you would feel better. Remember, I told you, like, it feels better. I feel better. It feels amazing to allow my bigness in the world even more. So if you can finish this. So finish this. If I knew that being seen would expand my joy and not drain it, I would dot dot dot. Finish that. If you finish it and you're willing to share, you can email me. And if you're on my email list, I'm not going to put my email here, but like if you're on my email list, you can just reply to an email that I've sent you. If you're not on my email list, then go down into the episode notes, and there's a link to subscribe. And I send an email a couple times a week, just so that you know what to expect. And sometimes more when I'm inviting you to work with me on something in particular, and you might be interested in it because you might want to do this work with me. Because all of this work, the art of being seen, being visible, this is the work that I do, or part of the work that I do with clients in a variety of containers. I love doing this work. So when I help my clients do this, it's not just about helping them like do the mechanics of being visible, but it's about supporting you as a creative, pro visionary entrepreneur. It's about supporting you in your energy, in your voice, to actually feel safe being seen, like so that it actually feels good. So I'll close this by saying that I actually hope this stirred something in you, that you felt something here, that you were like, oh, this is an art. Where might I be hiding right now? Like, that is my hope, that you are thinking about that right now. And if you finish, oh, I think I didn't finish what I was saying. If you finished that journaling prompt and you want to share it with me, I would love to hear it. So if you're on my email list, just hit reply to any email and share with me. Really, let's have a conversation about it. That would be amazing. Because there is nothing that I would love more than to see you being seen. All right. That's it for today. And I'm going to go edit this and put it out in the world for you to see me. All right, that's all. Chat with you next time.